A very different kind of light show was on display in Italy. Mount Etna is erupting again.
The largest active volcano in Europe is blowing smoke rings into the sky. Mount Etna in Sicily is producing rare volcanic vortex rings.
Mount Etna has erupted every few months this year and has been in a constant state of activity for the past decade.
Catania Airport after Mount Etna spewed red-hot lava, black smoke, and ash into the sky.
Something astonishing has just emerged in Italian city of Sicily, leaving everyone in disbelief. Mount Etna, known for its powerful eruptions, has revealed something unexpected beneath its fiery surface.
Oh my God, did you see?
As the ground quakes and the air fills with ash, the people of Sicily are left wondering what this new discovery could mean. What could possibly be hiding within this ancient volcano? Let us investigate the hidden truths of Mount Etna's latest surprise that will impact on Sicily's future for the long term and beyond. Italy's volcanoes are waking up again. Italy just bumped up its warning level to yellow again because its famous volcanoes are getting more active, and things might get intense pretty fast. Both Mount Etna and Stromboli volcano have been super busy lately, showing off with loads of lava and earthquakes, especially around the beautiful island of Sicily and the Mediterranean area. This activity has really grabbed everyone's attention across the country, with folks and experts keeping a close eye on what's happening. Stromboli, sitting on an island near Sicily in the Mediterranean, is well known for its regular big bangs, which also pull in a lot of tourists. Recently, this volcano has been more active than usual. During one eruption, lava poured out dramatically from one of its tops, thrilling people watching as it slid down the massive 10,900-foot volcano in Sicily. The spectacle was truly stunning, with Stromboli letting loose powerful blasts that sent bright lava shooting out from a new opening called Bocca Nuova. Mount Etna and Stromboli are known to be pretty explosive because of the way their lava is made up. Even little changes in their lava's makeup can cause huge explosions. Recently, there's been a spike in volcanic action, with 2 new openings quickly forming on a growing volcanic hill, really affecting the old city of Catania, which lies right under its large shadow. One super interesting thing that happened at the top of Mount Etna was the appearance of a volcanic vortex ring, something pretty rare caused by quick bursts of gas and the opening of new vents. This amazing natural event first showed up on the afternoon of July 2nd, 2024, when a new vent popped open on the northeast side of Etna's southeast crater and started spewing a bright gas plume. By the next day, it was clear that this gas had turned into several steam rings, a sight that's still captivating many. This ongoing display keeps drawing folks in and adds to the excitement around these unpredictable natural giants. Keep an eye out for more info on this. Scientists are still trying to figure out how these volcanic vortex rings come about, but they think these awesome rings are formed by a burst of gases shooting up from deep within the volcano and escaping through round vents at the top. This usually happens when steam from the volcano meets the cooler air above, turning into visible rings. After being quiet for 4 years, the Bocca Nuova crater came back to life on July 2nd. This comeback was marked by explosive eruptions and the launch of glowing lava chunks from the volcano's top. The eruption was so intense that it sent ash clouds way up into the sky and across the region, heavily impacting local communities. These ash clouds were a big problem, traveling far, messing up flights, and blocking highways. The ash didn't just settle on buildings, potentially causing damage, but also messed with air quality, creating health problems for people even far from where the eruption happened. Understanding and predicting these eruptions are super important because they really affect the safety and well-being of the people living nearby. Researchers are closely watching these explosive events using all sorts of geophysical tools. By looking at the data they've collected, they've made some big discoveries. For instance, they've figured out ways to predict how high ash will rise based on how lava fountains look, which is super helpful for planning and keeping communities safe. Mount Etna is famous for its regular eruptions, which often cover nearby towns in ash. Since 1977, the area has felt hundreds of small tremors, usually after big eruptions. Thankfully, most of these eruptions haven't caused big problems for the local towns or really messed up operations at Catania Airport, which is often closed during bigger eruptions. However, the destructive power of these eruptions was clearly seen in 1928, when a massive eruption totally wiped out the city of Mascali. The lava flows ruined local businesses and favorite tourist spots in the Piano Provenzano area, showing just how powerful Mount Etna can be. The constant vigilance by the National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology in Catania is super important. This dedicated team keeps an eye on every little move Etna makes, giving real-time updates that are crucial for keeping the public informed and safe. Their work not only helps predict when and how the volcano might blow, but also helps quickly spread the word about potential dangers, making sure everyone nearby can take the right steps to protect themselves and their stuff. With the ground shaking beneath us more often, it's time to dive into the forces that have the power to reshape everything around us. How volcanoes work deep underground. A volcano is basically a crack in the Earth's outer layer that lets out hot liquid rock, ash, and gases from way beneath the surface. This stuff comes out because of the movement of magma, which is just the name for this hot liquid rock when it's still under the Earth. As the magma gets hotter and more of it builds up, the pressure pushes it up until it breaks through the Earth's surface. Once it's out in the open, we call it lava. Volcanoes aren't just on land, they're under the ocean too. When these underwater volcanoes erupt, they can slowly build up into mountains and sometimes even form whole chains of islands as the lava that comes out cools down and turns solid in the water. The shape and size of a volcano can change based on what the magma's made of, how the volcano erupts, and how often it does. We usually group volcanoes into three categories: active, dormant, and extinct. Active volcanoes have erupted recently and might do it again soon. Dormant volcanoes haven't erupted in a while but could wake up and erupt again. Extinct volcanoes probably won't ever erupt again. The whole eruption process starts deep inside the Earth where it's really hot enough to melt rock into magma. This magma gathers in areas we call magma chambers below the Earth's crust. As more and more magma piles up, it starts to push its way upward through any cracks and passages it can find in the rocks. When it finally gets to the surface, it bursts out, spewing lava, ash, and gases. Not all eruptions are the same. Some can be super explosive, shooting ash and rocks way up into the sky, while others are more chill, with lava just kind of oozing out. You'll find most volcanoes where the Earth's tectonic plates, these huge pieces of the Earth's crust, meet and move against each other. A lot of volcanoes are along the Ring of Fire, a path that goes around the Pacific Ocean where there's a ton of volcanic and earthquake activity. Some volcanoes can also form right over hotspots, which are places where hot magma from deep inside the Earth pushes up to the surface. The Hawaiian Islands are a perfect example of how islands can form over these hotspots. When volcanoes erupt, they can really shake things up. They can send out rivers of lava that destroy everything in their way, clouds of ash that can drift for thousands of miles, and super hot, fast-moving clouds of gas and volcanic material called pyroclastic flows. These flows can be deadly, wreck homes, and even change the weather. Take the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980 in the United States, for example. It caused a huge amount of damage and deaths, and its ash cloud went really far. But it's not all doom and gloom. Volcanoes can also have long-term effects on the climate. The ash and gases they send into the sky can block out the sun and cool the Earth down. This cooling, called a volcanic winter, can last for years and mess with the weather and farming. Volcanoes also help build up the Earth in a good way. Over time, their repeated eruptions pile up layers of lava and ash, creating big volcanic mountains. When a volcano settles down, these areas can become lush, green, and full of life because the volcanic soil is really rich in nutrients. Volcanoes come in a few different shapes. Shield volcanoes have gentle slopes and are made from eruptions of runny lava that flows far, like the ones you see in Hawaii. Stratovolcanoes, or composite volcanoes, have steeper slopes and are made up of layers of lava and ash, like Mount St. Helens and Mount Fuji. Cinder cone volcanoes are smaller and have steep sides, made from piles of volcanic debris, like Paricutin in Mexico. Volcanoes create many different kinds of landforms too. Calderas are huge, bowl-shaped holes that form when a volcano collapses after erupting. Lava plateaus form when lava flows over a large area and hardens, creating a flat, raised area of land. Volcanic islands start as underwater volcanoes that eventually grow enough to poke out of the ocean, like the islands in Hawaii. Keeping an eye on volcanoes is super important for predicting when they might erupt and reducing the damage they can cause. Scientists use tools like seismographs to pick up on earthquakes, which often happen before an eruption, and gas sensors to check for gases coming out of the volcano. By watching these signs, they can let people know if an eruption might be coming, helping them to get ready and stay safe. Volcanoes are really amazing natural features that have a big impact on our planet. They can be both destructive and creative, causing widespread damage, but also helping to form new lands and enrich soils. Learning about volcanoes and how they work is crucial for dealing with their dangers and appreciating their role in shaping the Earth's surface. Now that we understand the basics, let's explore how some of the biggest eruptions in history have left lasting marks on the world. The global impact of massive volcanic eruptions. Some of the largest volcanic eruptions have massively affected our world. They've reshaped the landscape, altered the weather, and caused lots of destruction and loss of life. Let's dive into some of the most memorable eruptions and their impact on the globe. In 1815, Mount Tambora in Indonesia blew up, and it was huge. This eruption is the biggest one ever recorded. It lasted several days, spewing about 100 cubic miles of material. That's a massive amount. It also sent ash 43 miles high into the sky. This eruption caused what is known as the Year Without a Summer in 1816 because it blocked so much sunlight. This led to failed crops, widespread famine, and outbreaks of diseases all around the world. Unfortunately, it's estimated that around 71,000 people died because of this eruption and the hard times that followed. Another massive eruption occurred with Krakatoa in Indonesia in 1883. This volcano erupted so powerfully that people heard the explosions from as far as 3,000 miles away. It created a giant tsunami over 120 feet high that ended up eliminating more than 36,000 people. The ash from Krakatoa spread far and wide, cooling down the entire planet and leading to some really dramatic sunsets for years. And there's more. In more recent history, Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines had a huge eruption in 1991. It was one of the biggest eruptions of the 20th century, sending more than 3 cubic miles of material into the sky. This actually caused the whole planet to cool down by about 0.5 degrees Celsius for a year. The eruption caused a lot of damage locally, with lahars. These are like rivers of mud and volcanic material, burying villages and causing a lot of destruction. Thankfully, a lot of people were evacuated in time, so fewer lives were lost, but it still had a huge impact on the area. Going way back to 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius in Italy had a famous eruption that destroyed the Roman cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum. These cities were buried under thick layers of ash and pumice, which actually helped preserve them for centuries. The eruption was very sudden and violent, and many people didn't have time to escape, leading to thousands of deaths. In the United States, Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980, and it was a big deal. The eruption was so strong that it blew off the top 1,314 feet of the mountain. There were lots of warning signs like earthquakes and steam venting before the big eruption. When it did blow, it flattened forests and formed a large crater. It was the deadliest and most costly volcanic event in U.S. history, eliminating 57 people and causing a lot of damage. In South America, the largest recorded eruption was Huayna Putina in Peru in 1600. It threw out about 19 cubic miles of material, which is a lot. The eruption buried the surrounding areas in ash and pumice, eliminated over 1,500 people, and caused a lot of damage. It even changed the weather, making the following year cold and wet, which led to crop failures and famine. In 1912, the Novarupta volcano in Alaska had the biggest eruption of the 20th century. It released 8 cubic miles of magma and a huge cloud of ash that covered the area. It created the Valley of 10,000 Smokes, which is a place filled with fumaroles and ash. Luckily, no one died because the area was remote and people were evacuated in time. Another big eruption happened around 431 AD at Ilopango in El Salvador. This eruption sent so much ash and pumice into the air that it caused several Mayan cities to be abandoned. It had a lasting effect on the climate and really changed the local communities, leading to major cultural and societal shifts. After witnessing the immense power of volcanoes, Understanding how to stay safe in the face of such danger becomes more crucial than ever. How to stay safe during a volcanic eruption. When a volcanic eruption is on the horizon or already happening, it's crucial to know the necessary steps to ensure safety. Understanding what actions to take before, during, and after an eruption can truly be a lifesaver and help lessen the damage. Here's a comprehensive rundown on preparing for and responding to a volcanic eruption. First off, it's key to understand the specific dangers related to your location, especially if you live near active volcanoes. Local emergency management offices usually offer plans and information to aid residents in their preparations. Become familiar with these resources and identify the best evacuation routes. It's also smart to subscribe to local emergency alerts and stay tuned to updates from trusted sources like the U.S. Geological Survey and local government offices. You should also create a personal emergency plan. This plan should include a checklist of necessary items like water, food, medicines, and a first aid kit. Don't forget to include safety equipment such as protective eyewear, long-sleeved clothing, and an N95 respirator mask to protect against ash. Ensure every family member is familiar with this plan and practice it together occasionally. When an eruption is underway, pay close attention to local authorities' instructions. If they advise evacuation, do so immediately without delay. If the recommendation is to stay indoors, ensure all windows, doors, and any ventilation systems are sealed to prevent ash from entering. Use damp towels to seal any other gaps as needed. If you need to step outside, wear protective clothing and a mask to keep ash from getting into your lungs and eyes. Try to stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary, as ash can greatly reduce visibility and also harm your vehicle. If you find yourself outside when the eruption begins, seek immediate shelter. A sturdy building or a vehicle can offer protection from falling ash and debris. Steer clear of valleys and other low-lying areas since they can fill up with the lahars, deadly flows of mud and volcanic debris. After the eruption has settled, continue following updates from local officials and do not return to evacuated areas until they declare it safe. Still wear protective gear when dealing with ash cleanup. Avoid driving in areas heavily covered in ash to protect both you and your vehicle. Moreover, volcanic ash can contaminate water supplies, so rely on bottled water or other safe sources until authorities confirm that tap water is safe to use. When cleaning up ash, wet it down to prevent it from becoming airborne, which can be harmful if inhaled. Properly dispose of the ash to avoid clogging drains, which can create further complications. Be mindful that eruptions can trigger additional hazards like landslides, more mud flows, and even flooding. Keep informed about these potential risks. Having an emergency kit ready and knowing your evacuation routes can save crucial time and enhance your safety. The most critical actions during a volcanic eruption are staying well informed, following evacuation directives, wearing appropriate protective gear, finding safe shelter quickly, and being cautious during cleanup. Being well prepared and knowledgeable are your best defenses in navigating the challenges of a volcanic eruption. By taking these precautions, you can better protect yourself and your loved ones during these intense natural events. Could this unexpected discovery beneath Mount Etna be a natural phenomenon? Or is there something more strange at play? Perhaps even a hidden force we have yet to understand? Share your thoughts with us and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.